The characters were kissing now. Could love really make the world stop? Why did it make every female character feel alive? Wasn't she alive before she met him? Or was she in some zombie-like comatose state? How did love change that? And more importantly, why couldn't I seem to get enough of this unrealistic crap? My thoughts were interrupted when the two girls in front of me caught my attention. One was pointing to the door. The other was straightening the collar of her shirt while fluffing out her hair. That could only mean one thing. Brett Wells walked into class the same way the sun pours in through a window, slow and captivating. Time seemed to stop as he smiled at the teacher and made his way to the desk in front of mine. I glanced at the clock to make sure it hadn't, just in case. I had to give it to the guy. I think he may be the one person who could blur the lines between reality and fiction. With that head of hair that was a little more gold than brown, effortless smile, and altogether unwavering perfection, it was easy to lose yourself in his bright blue eyes. He could have walked out of the pages of a book and materialized in front of me. It was no wonder half the student body was in love with him. Even the teachers weren't immune. I think Miss Copper was blushing. Yuck. Adding to his mystique was the fact that his parents were considered some of the most generous in our entire school. Before junior year ended, rumors started circulating that his family was going to donate thousands of dollars to redo the football field. They were really well off. Why? I didn't have a clue. But when the school term started a few weeks ago, the goalposts were sparkling, the paint on the field was still fresh, and the bleachers were no longer covered in rust and multicolored gum. The Wellses came through. Now I was eyeing the navy blue varsity jacket hanging off the back of his chair. It was like a flag, announcing who he was. Brett Wells, captain of the football team. Not that I knew anything about him other than the whispers I heard or the checks his parents liked to write. But part of me wondered if he was as nice as everyone said, or if his relationship history really was non-existent. I mean, with a face like that? Doubtful. "Becca Hart?" Miss Copper asked, pulling me out of my thoughts. "Care to answer my question once you're done with your daydream?" I felt my neck warm first, then my cheeks. A second later, it reached my toes. "What was the question?" I managed to choke out. "I asked you to define the concept of star-crossed lovers." I flipped through the pages of my notebook to yesterday's lesson. "Star-crossed lovers are two people whose love is doomed," I read aloud. "There are so many forces working against them that not even the stars can keep them together." Satisfied, Miss Copper wrote my answer on the blackboard, the scratchy noise of chalk filling the silence that settled over the classroom. When she finally turned back around, my heart rate had returned to normal. Until she said, "And do you think it was worth it? For Romeo and Juliet to fight for each other, knowing their love was doomed?" I usually preferred not to speak out in class, but when the topic was about love in literature, I had a bad habit of going off on cynical mini-rants. I shook my head. No, it wasn't worth it. Falling in love destroyed both of their lives. What is the point of loving someone when you're certain you can't be together? I tapped my pencil against my desk, ignoring the students who turned to stare at me. I knew the expressions on their faces all too well. I was used to it by now. They were the same raised eyebrows my mom and best friend gave me, only I didn't want their pity or reassurance because my mind was made up. No room for negotiation here. Love was destructive, dangerous. It was safer on pages, and these books were enough of an experience for me. I mean, look at Romeo and Juliet. Was the play tragic? Sure. But did I have to worry about a century-long feud coming between me and the non-existent man I loved? Definitely not. When Brett turned to glance at me over his shoulder, those thick eyebrows drawn together, I looked down at my notebook. Numbers filled the back cover, scrawled down in yellow highlighter, blue pen, pencil, whatever I had on hand. It was a countdown.